Welcome everyone to episode 10 of Give Yourself Some Leeway with me, Eugene Lee. Now, this time of year, it's like the break between Christmas and New Year's. It's kind of like a twilight zone per se. It's like no one around me has any concept of time. And no matter how I try to stay on schedule, I'm off work at the moment on my holidays, and I'm like, okay, this is prime time for me to get back on the top of Leeway and really like knuckle down and get back into the business, contact potential partners. And I've actually found it really hard to just get in the zone. So I ended up spending more time just recharging, spending time with family and friends. And sometimes it's okay. You just need to let yourself have that. But one thing that I've done while I was recharging is I gave myself the time to reflect on how I want to see the format of this podcast go as we go forward into 2023. So the first thing, when it comes to give yourself some leeway, the whole point of this podcast is that I can provide information on overcoming stress, preventing and recovering from burnout, and ultimately becoming your best self without overwhelming you with information. So going forward, especially for the solo episodes, I've decided on 3 things. So the first is that I'm going to keep the episodes digestible. So I'm going to aim for 5 to 15 minutes per episode. This makes it easier to absorb the information, that I'm not overwhelming you or hopefully not going off on a tangent as often, and that it's something that you can look forward to listening to while you're going for a morning walk or your daily commute or making a cup of coffee in the morning, just so that you don't have to look at an hour-long episode. The next is I'm going to try and keep the episodes more consistent. And this is more about holding myself more accountable to providing the information to you. This way, going into 2023, I should have at least 1 episode per week, if not 2. And by being consistent, I'm also going to keep laser focused on one topic. And I've chosen to focus on work-life balance, as I feel this is something that a lot of people are struggling with at the moment. So most of the episodes going forward are going to be related to how can we correct the work-life balance that's ever changing around us, and how do we make more time to spend with friends and family without it taking away from our work performance. And finally, I want to keep the podcast community oriented. So I'm going to be engaging a lot more, especially with my community on Facebook, to discuss what I'm talking about on the podcast and what you'd like to see in the future. So the more feedback I get, the better I can make the podcast. And I really, really do appreciate your questions and your feedback. And together we can just make this podcast better. And I really do look forward to that. So yeah, that's the update for now. I have so many things planned for Leeway and to Give Yourself Some Leeway podcast for 2023. I cannot wait to share it with you all. And I look forward to talking to you over in the Facebook group. Now, take care of yourselves, and I can't wait to get in contact with you in the new year. Well, I hope you liked this episode, and I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, subscribe to the show, because it makes sure that you don't miss out on new episodes. And it also helps me, because it increases the rankings of the show a little bit, which of course makes it a little more easily found by other people who may like it just as much as you. And if you didn't like this episode or anything about the show in general, or if you have any ideas or suggestions or just feedback that you want to share, shoot me an email, eugene@leeway.ie, and let me know what I could do better, or just what your thoughts are on what you'd like to see me do in the future. I read everything myself. I'm always looking for new ideas and constructive feedback. So thanks again for listening to this episode, and I hope to hear from you soon.